Being that this is the university-wide Departmental Teaching Award, and we were up against departments from UNMC, UNL, and UNO, it's a huge honor to get this award for our department because it does show that we have exemplary teaching and that the people in the department really do work very hard. They work really hard and they care really hard too. They try to give the students the best possible education that they can. The rigor is there, really rigorous classes. You know, the students will say, some of my hardest classes were these biology classes. And we try to tell them, we're preparing you for the next step.
This is one of the things that frustrates the students in my class to no end. I expect them to actually apply knowledge to novel settings. And so in my exams, I always have some essay questions where the student isn't supposed to just spit back some paragraph in the book they've memorized, but they may have to take information from different chapters that are covered on the exam, put that information together and answer a question about something they've never had to think about before. And so I try to give the students the tools they need to go on to these other professions and the tools to be able to think and answer questions about situations they've not memorized and they're not prepared and practiced in.
You know, in terms of teaching, our department gets pretty high marks in student evaluations. They'll also say, almost routinely, this was a really hard course. It should be hard. We don't want it to be easy, but we want you to learn. And they almost always say, I learned a lot in this class. And often it's still fun. I really enjoyed it, even though I didn't get an A, you know, that kind of thing.
Science, especially biology, is a hands-on field. You learn science by doing science. So we try to tell the undergraduates, start doing research early. If you can start as a freshman, do it as a freshman. Because you have to learn how to fail. I think that's the most important thing, is to learn how to fail. I tell my students that if it worked the first time, we call it search. But that's why we call it research. You know, when they fail, I always tell them, now what did you learn from that? And I think our undergraduates do really well. They get really excited. They like their projects. In my lab, I have 3 people who have been with me since they were freshmen. And they stay because they like it.
Most of the students really like doing it. They finally get to, and we let it be pretty independent. They get mentored by faculty, but they do it largely on their own and put these principles to work. And then when they're done, they have to give an oral presentation to the whole faculty. And a good number of students that show up in their audience, which is one of the biggest audiences they've ever spoken in front of. So I get kind of nervous, but that's part of being a scientist too, convey your information. So they not only get to do science, they also present it orally. They have to do a written paper in a scientific format, so it's like something you would submit for publication. And then we also have them do a poster, which also is something that's presented at a scientific meeting. There's 3 different ways of presenting the information they've gathered together, and each conveys different kinds of information. So it gives them that kind of experience, hopefully to go on, if they go on in biology, to become researchers on their own, and many of our graduates have done that.
Uniformly, the faculty of this department maintain very high standards. And they teach the students so that the students, when they leave and graduate, are prepared to tackle jobs or tackle professional programs. And our students do have success after they leave UNK. And again, this isn't something new. Students in our department have graduated and been prepared for that next step for some time.
This is not just due to this year's faculty. This goes back quite a long way, and the faculty from as long as 10 years ago really helped us, propelled us toward this point.
I actually was an undergraduate student at UNK, and at the time when I was taking classes, I had no idea what I wanted to do until I was a graduate student. And I loved the teachers in the department, and I loved their enthusiasm and how they interacted with the students, and realized that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to teach. I wanted to be in a department just like this department. You know, the professors wanted to get to know you, and they wanted to, you know, take an active interest in you and what you were doing. So they felt, I always felt that the teachers were invested in what I was doing. And I've tried to take all those aspects of what I enjoyed in my professors and try to emulate those. The open door policy, I tell my students, hey, I'm your best tutor. If you need help in this class, my job is to make you understand the material and try to love it as little bit like I do.
One thing that our department has done fairly recently is reach out and offer an online master's degree. And this is very innovative on the university system. We were not the first, but one of the first departments to offer a degree that is entirely attainable online. We currently have somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 online students in our Master of Biology degree program. Like our undergraduates, they have to design and carry out an independent research project. This can be quite challenging for the distance student because some students are quite isolated and they don't have a lot of materials available to them. So our department has a very small grant the students can apply for to get some basic supplies. But the student works very closely with an on-campus mentor, and the mentor helps that student identify a doable project with resources the student has at his or her location. So this is also something rather unique in a distance program, but it's made the faculty think about how they deliver content and the expectations they have of the students, what the faculty should deliver and what the students should be able to obtain on their own, and then how the faculty evaluate how the students have learned on their own and satisfied the requirements for the class.
I think an exceptional teacher knows how to listen. Not just how to teach a subject, but how to listen to their students and how to judge, are my students learning? Are they understanding what I'm saying? Is that teacher willing to change what they're doing to help the students understand what they're supposed to be doing?
An excellent teacher would be one that not only imparts knowledge that's kind of given, but can use their experience of what they have done to bring the student in, say this is how we do such and such, so that they can convey the excitement they've had doing the research. That's one of the reasons we really want the faculty to do research, because doing it keeps you current in the field, and I think the enthusiasm towards the field rubs off on the students. They see that too. When I first came, the expectation of research was very, very low, almost non-existent. If you wanted to do research, fine, but your main job is to teach a class. And the fact that that's changed and changed a lot since then, there's a much more encouragement to do research. I really feel that, that the research helps focus the teaching, and that wasn't here before. And that's something that some schools just can't do. You know, if you're a small community college, those faculty are teaching nonstop. They don't have time to do research. On the other hand, if you're an R1 research institution, they have so much effort designed to research, they don't do much teaching. And this is a perfect difference between the two.
The award is really meaningful because it does demonstrate that we are doing a really great job in what we like to do, which is teach and train students. You know, we're a really large department with a lot of diverse personalities, and the science is very diverse. And to have someone say, hey, you're the best in the university, at least for this given year, I mean, that means a lot, because it really helps us to stand out also that we're a really good department, especially if you want to do biology and you want to do undergraduate research. This is the place that you want to be.